And I just want to make sure that we have, Hannah, does your other computer want to be a co-host to your faces?
No, I think we're good.
Okay,
I don't think I'm gonna be sharing anything with that. We're just gonna be talking to you. Hey, how you doing?
okay, no worries. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure everything is groovy.
So,
And so then do we have announcements from the Bead Society? I just want to know. Otherwise, we're gonna go live on Facebook.
do we
Becky,
want to talk, about the members meeting a little bit on Monday? What is it?
okay, I'll
February
ask
7th?
you about that. Okay, so let's go live on Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, my video went off. I think it times out.
That's okay.
Is that too bright?
No. Looks great. And so that's right. We're gonna have to do this so that we know we're live. Unsupported guest request. What? Let's go live.
Mine says it is live.
Yeah, mine says it's now streaming live on Facebook.
Okay,
And I think
so
we're good.
we're really excited over that. And so thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to spotlight me just for a moment and then spotlight my co-host. Hello, I'm here.
Hello, how are you?
I'm Rochelle from Bobby Bead and Team Toho. And I have here with me Hannah and Joy Rosner.
How are you?
We're so excited you could join us today.
Well, we're excited to hear about the Toho challenge from you.
Super. First, we'll do some Upper Midwest Bead Society business because that's who we are. We are supported today by Upper Midwest Bead Society. This is our Let's Bead live show, and we want to have a whole lot of fun today. We're not actually beading, but we'd like to inspire you then to bead in a whole new perspective. And so we have monthly meetings for our members. It's $35 a year if you want to become a member, and they happen the first Monday night of every month. And so Hannah, do you want to tell us about our February member meeting, who our guest speaker is?
Absolutely. I'm really excited about this. Mary Hilton Card has agreed to speak with us. She started out as a bead weaver and a lamp worker. And in more recent times, she has started doing colored pencil on copper and affixing it with really cold working, things like rivets to back pieces and making it into really fine jewelry. They also work really nicely as domed cabochons for beading. And she's going to come and she's going to talk about her journey as an artist on, I think it's Monday the 7th, right? From 6 to 7:30 is the meeting. And she's going to talk about her journey as an artist. She's going to talk about the book that she wrote that is about colored pencil on copper. And she's going to talk about the colored pencil on copper. So that's pretty exciting. She's really kind. And I'm really excited to hear about it because it's really an interesting sort of way of going about adding color to copper.
I'm really excited about that. We've never had someone doing any kind of the metal work like that at our meetings before. So
well, the exciting thing is that can't remember if it's March or April, but we're also going to have a metalsmith come and talk in a couple of months too, who does pure metalsmith. So we're going to have a little bit of that just to sort of round out the beadwork and to inspire you to do mixed media.
Or really understand what those focal pieces you get are that you're adding into your beadwork as
Oh,
well.
absolutely.
So that's really special. So if you want to become a member of Upper Midwest Bead Society, you can go to umbs.org and there is an easy membership page and just click the PayPal link and join for a year. It's only $35 a year. We do have our Let's Bead Live Saturdays, and those are free to everyone. We encourage you to join your members and share to other friends and help to encourage them to Let's Bead Live together instead of alone. So we're very excited. Other Upper Midwest Bead Society business we have replace the spotlight here with Becky and
I
she's on our board.
I just want to remind people who have not paid their membership to go to umbs.org and click on the link. If you don't have a PayPal account, you can email me and I can send you a link to be able to pay. You know, I can send you an invoice and then you can pay without even having PayPal. So you don't have to have PayPal to do it. That's the easiest way for us to accept your payment is PayPal. Thank you.
Super.
And let me add on to that, that when she sends you an invoice, you can pay with any credit card and you don't even have to make an account on PayPal.
So we're very excited to have more members and renewing members, and we'd love to hear from you on what the programming is you'd like to see for our Let's Bead Live Saturday shows. So you can always message us as well through the website and give us great ideas, artisans, or if you want to volunteer to teach yourself, then, please contact us, and all the contact pages are there on the umbs.org website. Or message us through our Facebook page. We're there all the time too at UMBS Facebook. And so why don't we start our meeting with, oh my gosh, the exciting part of the day. It's a new year. And so that means a new Toho challenge.
And they have been sent out to the featured artists already. And I believe some of the featured artists have already received the colors for 2023, which we'll tell you about in a little bit. But I am here with Rochelle, who has designed the colors since 2016. She has designed the Toho color palettes. So let's take it away, shall we, Rochelle?
Sounds terrific.
Why don't you start by telling me how you first became involved with the Toho Challenge?
Well, I have been a founding member of Team Toho, which is a nonprofit educational group that consists of the manufacturer, which is Toho in Japan. And then it used to be 3, but now it's just 2 of the American importers, which is Starman and Bobby Bead, which I work for since 2005. I've been a Toho rep here and the mail order manager. So if you've ordered mail orders, you've probably seen me shipping you your order notifications. And so it was really, I just kind of fell into a unique position by working here.
Well, this isn't on the list of questions that I sent you, but are those all Toho beads behind you?
Oh my gosh, this is my office. And so the entire walls are covered in Toho beads. From one end of the spectrum, and this is just one wall. We will give you a nice 300-degree perspective with more. We do keep them in numerical orders so that we can actually figure out and find. And so we started with the 11s. Now we're on the 8s and 15s. So, oh my gosh, here's Igoland.
right? And they're numbered in order, so those are by finish, not by color. And that's the reason that you're not seeing it as a rainbow.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's how the stock numbers are. So, yeah.
And the nice thing about it also is that the Toho beads, the black, for instance, is always the same number, even if it's a different size.
That is a wonderful, unique trait of Toho beads, so
Good,
that
yeah.
it's easy to get all your favorite colors. And we are currently having our super sale. My gosh, it's probably backwards. But
No,
since
it's
we
right.
just got our shipment, it's January, we're trying to get you stocked up for those cold winter months, because it will happen. I know it's coming. And so all the 11.0 rounds and 11.0 demis and 8.0 demis are 25% off this week through tomorrow. And all the check glass beads, those wonderful Starman check glass, the other component that is in the Toho challenge, because it is a combination to encourage you to really mix texture and dimension into your challenges.
Absolutely. So you like to use a theme for the challenges that you prepare, and this began in 2016. How were the challenges assembled before then, Rochelle?
Well, before that, it was a combination of Kim Tamron, who was the other distributor from Tambrook Beads, and Nicole Starman from Starman Beads, and me. We would meet at the Bead and Button show every year when we had our Team Toho booth to display each year's challenge pieces and display what was new with Toho. And so we would then talk to the designers at the show and see what all the new trends were going on, and seeing what trends we were finding just in our own orders from our customers and designers, so that what did we want to promote for the next year. So we came together as a team, but because it kept increasing in popularity, we also wanted to add the Toho challenge to the Tucson show that we were doing in February. So then we had to have the kits prepared in February instead of May, and start earlier and earlier to involve more and more people. We now make 500 mini challenge kits that we distribute all over the world. So we have to start a year and a half in advance in order to prepare for that year. So we just decided one person needed to take over and lead the challenge, and they voted on me. And I was the most enthusiastic, I think. I don't have children or grandchildren, so I have extra spare time to bead, and that's really what it does to coordinate the Toho challenge. So it really was a wonderful thankful decision that they have put in my lap, an honor really that the distributors and the manufacturers trust in my judgment to then put together the challenge by myself. But it really honestly isn't by myself. I am bouncing it off wonderful help, committee members and helpful, like Rosner, for example, is one of my color theory specialists to help bounce colors off. Since I no longer have all the on-hand support with the Bead and Button show gone, we don't have a Team Toho booth at the moment. So things have changed and evolved so much, revolving the whole world.
So how do you go ahead and pick that theme? And once you do, how do you pick the actual colors? So what's your process is, I guess, what I'm asking.
Well, sometimes it actually, I've been thinking about that since you asked me that, which is first, the chicken or the egg, right? And it really happens pretty much simultaneously. You know, if I seem to be binging a new show, and so I'm just totally immersed in that world, or I'm traveling back and forth to Tucson and digging, rock hounding out in the desert for extended periods of time. You know, and sometimes it's because I'm working in the bead store, surrounded by all these beads every day. I'm pulling your orders every day, seeing what people are using, what the trends are. And, and sometimes it's garden season, and how can you not be influenced by all those beautiful colors? And so you soak it up, and then you realize that you're now beading with those colors. And you're like, well, how would this work? And so that's how some of my palettes have come up is, the name is almost synonymous. As you put the colors together in the tray, you're like, well, what does this then represent? What I'm feeling. So then you have to put the feeling into words, which is sometimes a little longer than you think.
And of course, sometimes it's also the new beads, right?
It really is, because each year, well, we hope each year, Toho comes up with some new products. And so one year it was the entire semi-glazed finish, which is 24 different shades of all these wonderful desert tones, and they're matte, semi-glazed, and matte rainbow, and so soft and rich. And other times it is 48 new perma-finish colors, which are really bright and, electrically intensifying, and then they have their matte complement. So you always have those two. Other years, it was the FM series of beads, which is a new matting process for all those bead geeks out there. Most matte beads are like an acid bath dipped to etch them on the outside. Well, when you have a color line bead, you don't want to wear out all that beautiful color you just worked to put inside that little tiny bead. So they sandblast the outside of the beads to keep the intense color on the inside and the matte finish on the outside, so that it has this really intense duality finish of it. And so we try to feature different beads in each year. Each year as well. Sometimes it's a demi bead, which is one of Toho's new bead shapes. So different shapes as well come in the challenge series. So at the end, we'll tell you which new beads will be in the challenge for 2023, which is one of Toho's new beads coming out. So
We'll talk about that in a minute, though.
mhm.
Let's show that little slideshow of your past challenge pieces, and then we'll talk about each one individually. How's that sound?
Sounds super. All right. Okay, no. Oh, here it is.
I love that. Yes, let's talk about the 2022 and work our way back. So the 2022 colors, Dawn of a New Day.
Let's.
Can we bring that one up so everybody can see it? And you need to go do something, it looks like, right?
No, question for you, but now in the 2022, is that the one that's going to be, or that's the
No,
one
that's the one
been?
that just happened. So this is
That's already
right.
been, it's all finished and
Right.
it's all, everybody sent their stuff in.
right. So this one is, we haven't talked about the new one yet. We'll do that at the
I
end.
got that, because sometimes these are things are at the end,
Right.
22 starts on the
Nope, we're
next year.
on the
We're gonna go
2022.
backwards because
Yes.
why not? And then jump forwards again, just because that's how we do it.
Right.
It's just
So what we're gonna
much
do
fun
is we're
around
gonna-
here.
Right. So we're going to work our way back. So tell me about the 2022 challenge.
The 2022 is called Dawn of a New Day, and it literally is inspired by the winter sunrises here in Minnesota. The colors are completely different than in the summer because of all the water crystals in the air from all the snow. Everything, even the smoke from the chimneys, has that coral hue and has a sparkle overtone, undertone to it. And so it's really soft and sparkly at the same time. So every morning I walk down the stairs and see the beautiful sunrise. And so it was really just fitting in the middle of COVID lockdown that the theme came to me as well, pretty literally. So like I said, we plan these challenges a year and a half in advance. So I was working on this through 20 and 21. So that's I'm really glad that then when we released it to the public that people really responded, and it seemed to be like also a breath of fresh air for them.
This was a gorgeous color. Yes, it was. And Chris has asked if she could still do the 2022 challenge, and you can do any of the challenges at any time. If you want to go back and do the 2016 challenge, absolutely. And you can send that in to Rochelle and she'll put it up on the Facebook page whenever you're finished, even if it's in 10 years from now.
Can you get the old kits?
Well, you can't get the old kits, but you can get the old colors. So there's
No,
a
that's what I
list.
mean.
You
I
can
see.
get the colors, and that's really really important, because once again, they always keep the same color numbers.
A marvelous.
So, and you can use any shape or size bead in those colors. So even though the kits don't have, there's probably 20 shapes in black, but, or more even, you could, if black were the color, then you could use any size, any shape in there. So you can always get a hold of the old kits. And I believe most of them are on the Bobby Bead website.
Wow.
And so absolutely, Chris, you could do any of them. And then when you're done, send it in to Rochelle and she'll put it up on the Facebook page. So
reason is to make the palettes to inspire you. So
and it's not just for this year, it's for any year.
Absolutely. That's the fun of it, is colors don't expire. There's no date on that.
That's right. Let's move back though and do the one, we won't say that it's the 21 challenge, but we'll say that it's the one that you designed in the 2021, so that people understand that you can do it anytime.
Correct.
So let's talk about this one.
So the palette we came out with or launched in 2021 is called Modern Traditions. And I was inspired by this pulling mail orders actually throughout the whole previous year doing lockdown. And because we were essential, we never stopped doing business, and we had to ship you your wonderful beads so you could stay home preoccupied. And it was really interesting to see the themes of what people were ordering. They were all split in two different directions. One was like all these soft, earthy matte tones and pinks and green, but they were all matte, everything opaque matte. And then other people were the complete contrast, were like white, black, cream, dark, but they were all shiny, like completely shiny. And they're very traditional colors that have been around forever. So I, of course, had every one of them in my palette. And so I started playing with them too. And the new Pacifica colors had come out from Starman, which had also very much matched all those very soft, matte, semi-glazed colors as well. So I decided that, why don't we mix them together and force people to use them both, and mix your matte and shiny, your light and dark contrasting, and your soft gradations together, and see and then come up with your new modern traditions. And so I thought that this was a really good way to get everybody, connected with what they were doing. And since they were, really in touch with a lot of their old traditions they had started and gotten back now into, since they had the time to do it.
Oh, I love it.
And the year before, oh my gosh, was
I think this was one of my favorites.
It was one
I
of
probably
my
shouldn't say that
too. And so
Okay.
this was wonderful. This was created in spring in summer of 2018-19, and we launched in 2020. They came out with some of the new FM colors, which are those matte colors that have the FM. So the green, the purple, and the coral are all that FM series. So they're color line beads with the matte process by sandblasting. So they're really intense matte. So a lot of people think that color has to be shiny, and that's not true. Color can be intense in all different finishes. So that's why I mixed all different finishes. We had color line, we had opal, we had the new perma finish yellow gold, that bright yellow, and metallics. And so it really was all the different colors of the gardens that I had been working in and inspired by. And I just really wanted to bring that to life. And hopefully you too would be inspired. So we called that the Spectrum of Joy. And everything I did with that, oh, that's right, the hat I made for our Bead Society 30th party. Oh, it's right up front. Do you want to go grab it? It's in the window of Bobby Bead, like way up front. And so with the Spectrum of Joy, we also had our 30th anniversary of the Upper Midwest Bead Society. So we had a Mad Hatter tea party that all of us went to, and that was just so much fun. So I got to wear my hat to this.
And I think that Chris has asked about this. So yes, Chris, those new matte colors are available for you from Bobby Bead. And
They've been
Karen, the list of the colors is available on Bobby Bead. I will drop that to you. But it is, if you just go to, what is it, bobbybead.net?
bobbybead.com. And then you can click on either the retail shopping cart, I would recommend, because it has all the check colors in there and stuff too. And then you can click on the challenge category. It says Toho Challenge 2019, Toho Challenge 2020. And then up will be all the products that we had in the challenge. So this is my Mad Hatter hat that I made for the 2020 Toho Challenge.
Oh my God.
And the Bead Society 30th anniversary party. So basically it's my little garden with a garden gate and then these wonderful little flowers. This is my hat pin, so I can pin it to my head. I made my fascinator a little bigger than some others.
Just a tad.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So then when Han approached me with this one, you know, it's kind of demure.
I love it.
And so, but so it was a whole lot of fun to, you know, create. So usually, and it's still technically not finished. I've only finished one Toho Challenge design in all the years since we started in 2012.
Right, and it wasn't even a color that you designed.
It wasn't even a color that I designed.
Well,
I
you
picked one
picked one of the
color in
colors.
it, and one of the colors of check, and so it was. It's a lot of fun. It's over there on the wall. But anyway,
Let's move on to 2019.
years are a whole lot of fun because this is one of my favorites. I spent a lot of the time in the Southwest that year, and my best friend's son was learning to surf in California. And so he was 12 and they were at the beach every day sending me these wonderful sunset pictures of California, and they live in San Diego. So all these wonderful sunset pictures. It's the little one down there, that one. Yep. And so it's called California Dreamin'. And it really is just that whole, you know, peaceful serenity you get as you're walking on the beach, listening to the waves, watching your son surf and not get eaten by a shark. But, you know, so it really was a wonderful year that, so it's so much fun. So that's why the literal picture is actually in the sand as well. And so 2019 was a really fun year.
Did you say that you had one to show us?
We
Oh.
do, we were trying to get it
Oh.
on the, just, here, where'd it go?
Oh, here's me.
I'm sorry, I need to, add spotlight. There we go.
It's on it, right?
Yep, that's the one right here in the middle. This is the 2019 challenge. I forgot to spotlight it. It was my fault. I'm trying to do a couple jobs here.
I
But yeah,
know,
this
right?
one here is Jean O'Donnell's. And this is just a right angle weave of of probably about 30,000 beads. My guessing is it's probably like 48 squares across. And so when you change the shapes of the beads, then it just changes the width of the pattern, the way it looks. This was when the new demis were just released. So a lot of those are demis. So when you do right angle weave and demi, you have some more space and some more flow and flares. So a lot of those colors all came in the demis. So
Now that one on the, since we're looking at that spotlight, the one on the left is
Oh, yeah.
Spectrum of Joy,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, and so switch the camera just a little bit. And so correct, this is the Spectrum of Joy. There you go. And you can pan the camera up and down there for me, dear. This is also by Jean O'Donnell. It is a 380 different octagons. And each one of those is a different color palette mixture. And then they're sewn together. It's a quilt pattern that she adapted into beads. And then if you want to show the other one here on this side, this was the 2020 palette. And so some of the designers picked out different colors in the 20, each one to feature and focus. So if you do a broader scale of it, it's going to look a little different. And so that's why it's how you use it, what you inspired in each palette that we really want to just let you have the freedom to do that. So that's why whatever shape and size bead you want to use, whatever check bead you want to feature. See, she used these here are the chatoyant red, and that was the first year the chatoyant check bead finish came out. So there's some of the center, so that really pops. So but how you use the integration of the check beads and the Toho beads is up to you, you know. So, and whatever medium you want to use, she used hemp to crochet beads in the backdrop here. So you can use other fabrics and backings. They just have to be in the same colors of the palettes so that there's no distraction. It has to be symbiotic. So we just want you to have the freedom, whether you want to do crocheting or knitting or sculptural, that's up to you. So what does it inspire you? So that's the idea.
When you take the challenge on your own, of course, you don't have to make these big pieces. We're not asking everybody who takes the mini challenge to make something ginormous like this.
Right.
So feel free to just do whatever makes you happy. So the 2018 challenge.
This is one of my favorites. This one, I spent a lot of time that year and the year before out digging for the Arizona fire agates. They're also California, that whole volcanic region there. And I actually don't have a design to show you for that one. Sorry, sweetie. So my film assistant was like, which one am I supposed to pick? She's so cute. But basically, the Arizona fire agate, I do have one on my neck here that my husband made for me. But it is the opal of the agate world.
So
Because of the volcanic activity, the different debris, sort of all the minerals that get seeped down through the cracks in the water over the years and years, and then heated and pressed, create all the beautiful colors in the agates. So they sparkle and shine and glitter and glow and swirl just like opals do, but only it's in a brown base of that agate, and then there's a little bit of the white chalcedony around it. And so, but it's a healing stone and the most protective stone. It bounces off negative energy and evil curses and everything. And so it's completely healing. So that's why this one was very inspired by the fire agates and my joy of
To go back and do that
rock
one.
hounding. And so, yeah, so this is my necklace that my husband made me, and it was for our wedding. It's the North Star. And he had a designer called Brittany Foster create the casting, and then the fire agates in the center. So
I think that was one of my favorites too, Karen. And
just a lot of
Right.
fun, and it was so many bright colors. So each year
Right.
you just never know from one color to the soft what the different reactions are going to be to what it is. In 2017, this wonderful palette had some mixed emotions by many people. Honestly, it was inspired by two different completely separate things, so that's why I understand. I was binging the show Versailles. If anybody likes King Louis and, you know, all the craziness and the opulence of the Hall of Mirrors that he built, and all the sparkling and amazing wallpaper and rich jewel tones. And so then in the middle of my binging, I, of course, am driving to Tucson again in January.
Oh,
So this is a yearly occurrence, back and forth to Tucson for a decade. So you're thinking, as the roadside goes, all the beautiful wheat fields as they are pretty much all the matte colors that I saw in the Palace of Versailles, and the sparkly tones. These are just the matte versions of it. You know, since there's no leaves on the trees, they have the purple vines. Those brush all along the road is that dark purple color, you know, and as the sun glistens on it, it warms up a little bit. And then, of course, you just can't forget, and what tied it all together is that bright blue gas, food, and lodging sign is the absolute same color as the blue wallpaper in Versailles. And it's just like, you know, it goes so well. So it just kind of fit so completely together that, you know, I really wanted people to see the duality of it all. So this one kind of didn't have a name other than maybe that. Let's get the duality together, you know. So I was very inspired. And the new demis came out. So these were all new wonderful colors and demis too. So but that was my second palette that I did. So I really got to expand a little bit more, use a few more colors than I had in my first palette, which was
Well, let's talk about that one then.
2016. And they gave me my chance because we really had to get more variety, I felt, in order to give designers the opportunity to grow. You know, encouraging small designs is nice, but this is a show. We want big, you know, fun, eye-catching things. And so we said, well, let's give people more beads and just see what happens. You never know. But in the first year, it was still pared down to a little bit simpler. And so it was wonderfully inspired, of course, by most of my time in the deserts, for one. And my favorite colors, green, turquoise is my birthstone. Green goes so well with my hair, and all that wonderful bronze. So we had the matte and the shiny. So this challenge was dealing with similar colors, only you had a matte and a shiny of each. And in the check, you had a shiny dark bronze and a matte dark bronze and a shiny green to complement that matte semi-glazed green. So it was really working with an actual budget. This was my first year, and they made me work with a budget. And so I did the best I could, and really I had a fun. And since I proved that it would work well, and then they gave me more freedom in all the years after that. And so they stopped giving me a budget.
I love it. I love it. I think in 2016, I was not a featured designer, but I ended up taking it anyway. And
You made an incredible design.
I love
And
this.
this is what she made that year. She made a vessel. And will you admit Barb Benjamin, please? And it was adorable. We had it here for a little while at Bobby Bead, that you could see it at the Bead Bazaar if you were there, and the top comes off and everything. And so, yeah, you can really see up close these wonderful green and turquoise semi-glazed colors. They're just so amazing. And
yeah, I really loved doing that one. That was a lot of fun. So we've heard from a couple people about what were their favorites. Do you have a favorite?
I really keep thinking about that. And honestly, I go back and forth. 2020 with the Spectrum of Joy really touched my heart. I had a great time making that hat, and they were all from my favorite gardens and my favorite spots. And so I really enjoyed that one, and it was so fun to talk about, and people really responded well. That year Patricia Parker was in it, and she made this amazing garden, so it inspired her Beaded Garden book. So if you haven't gotten her new book, I think I have it on the shelf up there, you can look at it if you come in, but it's a wonderful book, and she made a whole thing inspired by her design that year, and she patterned out all those flowers and all those wonderful colors. And so it was a really happy, a very happy palette, I think.
It was a happy palette, absolutely. So you've talked about a couple of the featured designers, and we have a couple here in who are watching right now, but let's talk about how you choose the featured designers for your palette.
Well, we choose them in a couple ways. We are looking for designers that are create inspiring works already with Toho beads and check beads, so that they're familiar with the products and they're already Toho ambassadors. So we really like to honor those people who have worked with us for years. And then also the people who have taken the Toho challenge. If you've done the mini kit and then turned in something or got the colors yourself, doesn't matter what year it is, it just proves to us that you actually accomplished something within the parameter rules within a period of time. That time obviously is varied for other people. If you're a challenge designer, you only get like 2 to 4 months to do this. So it is a really big commitment. So if you've done it, we really want to, if you've done it once, we like to encourage you. Now here's a bunch of beads. What can you do now? And so it's a lot of fun. The Japanese designers are all chosen after the yearly competition each year. So you actually have to place in their competitions in order to then be chosen by Japan. A lot of the European designers this year, we have turned over to Twinkle Beads, who is our German partner, just to help us, who know a little bit wider branch of designers, to really bring a world voice into this. So they've chosen a lot of designers this year. And Starman and I get together and we choose the American and Canadian designers. And so it's a lot of fun. So if you're interested in being a featured designer, that's partly how you communicate with us, that you really have the time and energy to put into a big project. And so that way, by taking the mini challenges is a really good way to get your foot in the door to working with someone else's palette.
Well, let's talk about this year's palette then.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Are we excited or what?
I know, right?
We are. And so, oh my gosh, this year's palette is called Nothing Gold Can Stay. And some people might take that one way or another way or many different ways. I was very inspired by this, my favorite poem by Robert Frost. And it is now over 100 years old, so I can now use it without copyright infringements. So since 2018, I have wanted to use this as an inspiration, but just finding the right palette. And so nothing gold can stay. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. And I feel that if we really celebrate those special golden moments in life that come to us, they're so fragile, they don't last very long, but we remember them fondly forever. So I really am encouraging people to capture those golden moments in beadwork and share with us, you know, just a little snippet of what you're feeling, of those special moments, a memory you've captured in time. And it really is, yeah, it's a big feeling to me that I really hope you enjoy. These are the Toho beads in it. I can't tell you the stock numbers officially yet. Our launch date, so that's why it's a short teaser. So maybe you took a photo of screenshot. Sorry, I should have told you that after. But our official launch date, because you're watching, you are the first ones to hear it. Mini kits will go on sale and the palette will be posted on February 10th. That's a Friday. And so on Thursday, February 9th, Hannah Rosner and I will be having a live unveiling of the kit on the Team Toho Facebook page, and we'll be talking the stock numbers and talking products. And so these are the check bead colors that are in it. And so there's all kinds of wonderfulness. And like I said, you can use any size or shape check bead in these colors. Any size or shape Toho bead in those colors. And it's just so much fun that we really are so inspired. And so let me just here.
I haven't drilled on it too much.
You haven't drooled on it too much? Yeah, I have the palette here in the studio. Sorry. I'm trying to get it laid out for you. There you go. Oh my gosh. There it is. So it's so much fun. This is not the actual shapes and sizes of the beads. It'll be in the kit. There's a whole bunch of different fun things in the kit, but there'll be one of each of these colors in the kit. And then I don't know where it is. The package is here somewhere. You can tell my office isn't the most organized. But the other thing that's going to be in the kit is the new recycled glass beads by Toho, the brown recycled glass. And they are amazing. It's the clear brown bottles. They are made, it's this one right here, that's this beautiful, here, let me turn it on and maybe it gets better. Oh, that made it worse. It did make it worse, sorry. Art malfunction. But yeah, so Toho now makes recycled glass beads out of glass bottles. And so in the Toho kit will be these brown beads right here. They're very golden, wonderful. And that's what is in the middle of this amazing, where'd it go? These guys right here in the middle of the sun. this is the wonderful rebeads. And
Oh.
so they are
They're
just,
beautiful.
Recycled
yeah,
bottle.
and that's the
Beautiful.
transparent. So that's what will be in the kit. And then you'll be able to get more of those very soon. They will be in the country. They're just being manufactured. So the bead kits basically are the only place in the world right now besides Japan that have these recycled beads.
Wow.
I know.
So there's many ways to get a kit out there if you want to try to get involved. We have some different promotions going with your Upper Midwest Bead Society and other societies. Hannah Rosner will be having a promotion on Good River Gallery. And then Lisa, wave to everybody. Lisa, there's Lisa. Lisa and Maggie, I know it's just your picture, but there you are too. And so they're also on their websites going to be having, and so let's see, at Spotlight, promotions on their website. They made this beautiful 2020 design. We can show it to you guys again. That they were a joint conglomeration of. And let's see, there it is right there, their wonderful design that was there. So you don't have to do it alone if you don't want to. You can join together with a friend and create a group design. You know, just have fun with it. And so different websites, different Facebook pages, wonderful designers will be having, Bobby Bead will be having free giveaways as well, as we'll have some kits to sell. Other different places will have some kits to sell as well. Barrel of Beads will have kits to sell. Art Beads will have kits to sell. Linda Holland, if you're online in Canada, anybody in Canada watching, Linda Holland at Beads and Destash will have them on her Etsy site as well. So on Thursday night, on the 9th, when we have our show launching the whole thing, we'll give you a list of other folks who'll be having it. And so we're excited to say, because you're a Bead Society member and you're here, that Maggie and Lisa were chosen as featured designers for 2023. And they're doing a collaborative design. And so, so they're not allowed to give too many teasers out there, but we'll, you know, little ones along the way. So we're very excited. So
What time is the reveal on the 9th?
it will be, let's see, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, Hana. Let's see, what time is it best in Japan? And for you guys, I don't know. I'm thinking we'll say 7. I don't know, Hana, when do you want to do it? 6 or 7?
That's fine, whichever is best for Japan, I'm good with. So let's just wait to hear from Japan and then we will post
Right,
it.
it'll either be 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, Central Time Zone. That way everybody in Japan will have woken up for the day.
And they can be involved,
There is
right?
that.
Right.
So we're just so darn excited
We
to launch
are.
the 2023 challenge and get you all excited for designs coming in for Nothing Golden Say. And I can't wait to see all the golden moments that you all capture.
Absolutely. And once again, if you miss getting a mini kit, you can still buy the colors. They will be available on Bobby Bead's website, and also some of them will be available on mine and you know, some of the other stores that Rochelle has mentioned will have the kits, the colors available outside. I just wanted to show you this. Mom just got this in the mail. And look at this.
Oh my gosh, that is perfect.
Right? It's
here.
just the colors. Isn't that funny?
Wow.
Yes, this is some fiber that Mom just got, and so I wanted to show you that. Isn't that fun?
Well, will you take the challenge?
Well, I do it in weaving, not in beads.
Right.
Well, you never know. You could add some beads to your
Of
weaving.
course, yes. But this is a lovely chenille, a big fat chenille, and it's all hands painted. And I'm talking hand painted instead of hand dyeing it. They actually paint the sections.
Nice. So
It's
I'm not the
beautiful.
only one that came up with that great color palette.
Isn't that fabulous? Great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, yeah. And so like I said, we'll be posting the actual list on the 10th. We'll be announcing it on Thursday, the 9th. And then on the Bobby Bead and the Art Beads website, they do have, we will then activate the category for 2023. But if you'd like to see 2022, 21, previous years, you can go to bobbybead.com and then click on that year, and then everything will come up, the seed beads and the check beads that we have. And so we're just so darn excited to see what you do with the challenge. And it's really a personal challenge. It's nothing to do with other folks. We want these folks to inspire you with their works, just at the many different things you can do, but do what you like to do and show it to us, and we'd like to share it to the world. That's the whole point. So follow Team Toho Facebook page if you haven't been there yet, and you'll get notifications, and you can go to the Toho Challenge galleries to see the different feature designers and mini challenges from years past.
Absolutely. Speaking of Facebook, after this is finished today, we will be posting this to Facebook so you can still watch it. And I'll go through. I know that we probably have some Facebook questions that I
It's
haven't had a
actually
chance to.
running live on Facebook right now, and Kim Tamron says she loves the palette for 2023.
Hi, Kim.
We love you, Kim. And so we're just so excited that you're proud of us taking the mantle over from you. Elizabeth Webb Edwards is watching. She was one of our Toho Challenge featured designers for 2022. The gallery is currently going on. Elfleda Russell is watching. She was our Monday night speaker for last January. And so we'll be uploading that to YouTube very soon. If you missed the meeting, I just accidentally recorded it to my computer instead of the cloud.
Well, as long
I'm
as
an
it's recorded.
artist, not a techie. So that will be up to see Elfleda's, but she was a featured designer in Toho Challenge last year and the year before. Hi, Gail. Hi, Wendy. We're so excited you're watching, and Susan and everybody who came to Facebook. If there's any other questions, you just let us know, and we will, we want to connect everyone together, whether you're Zooming or Facebooking. And so I just thank you for joining us on this. And if there's any other, who else is here? Oh my gosh, we got all kinds of wonderful folks. Yeah,
Right, we have
lots
all
of
kinds
folks
of
with
comments.
us.
Well, I'm going to take a very short break for maybe 4 minutes.
Oh,
And then Mom and I will start talking about color.
yeah, so let's just switch it to gallery here, and then so everybody can chat and get to know who is who's here and say hi. Anybody want to say hi? Oh my gosh, we got people from all over the world, members we haven't seen for a while. And we got new board members here. Marlene Moores, we're so excited you're on the board. We're just so happy. And oh my gosh, oh, I'm waving the wrong way. There you go. And then Beth, hi, nice to see you in frozen South Dakota. Oh my gosh. And so it's just, oh, hi, Robin. Oh, and you're wearing your new hat. Oh my gosh, can I spotlight so we can see better? Oh my gosh, that's looking so good. I'm really excited to see your finish. She's going to a bead cruise, and so it's her new Dilo de los Mortas. I am not very good at my accents. So sorry, but isn't that pretty? So your beads are on the way, Robin. So they will be there so you can finish your project soon. Hi, Chris, you're in the village. What are you doing in the village? You gotta unmute to talk. There you go.
Oh, it's that's my normal Zoom for my job at the garden.
I love the name. And how is it down in Rochester? You've got more snow than we do.
We got a lot of snow. We got like 8 inches yesterday or the last couple days. A lot.
Shit. It's snowing again.
That's why I'm so glad we have these Zooms, so that way you can stay home warm and cozy and we can continue to be together and talk, and nobody has to drive 2 hours. Well, yeah, Shelley came.
Rochelle, I would like to suggest going forward that you put the name of the theme on the kit label, because names can be inspiring too.
And I saw that in your comments, and I really think that that is a great idea. Before we didn't even name them or come up with themes. So I do believe that it has made an impact just doing that. So yeah, proper labeling, because you're sharing that postcard as well. So unless you read the notes, yeah, I get.
Go, oh, those are cool.
Right, exactly. So that is, you can tell why you've been on the board so long. You really understand the nuances of like the details. And so I'm very excited. And so anybody has any other comments, suggestions for our how to make it better, you know, then please, no, cancel. I didn't want to remove you. I just wanted to unspotlight. I'm sorry. So you can tell I'm not a technician. That's okay. I'm an intermediate Zoom host.
It's better than me having beginners.
And so I'm excited. And so Lisa, Maggie, you're on your way to Tucson. What, tell us a little bit about your event.
Maggie,
I'm finding Maggie. There she is. Let's see.
we're staying at the Estrella Hotel, which is right next door to the Casino del Sol. That's where like the big bead show is, one of them actually. So we're staying at the Estrella, and we have open shopping night on Monday. Is that from 6 to 8, Maggie?
Sure. That sounds great.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. And Marlene is going to be joining us, so
Yep.
that'll be nice.
Good to see you, Marlene. See you in a week.
Peggy.
Yeah. And we're going to be going to some wholesale shows, and we're meeting with some friends, and yeah, it'll just be a good time.
so
It's
excited.
supposed to be in the middle 60s, so it's going to be way warmer than Minnesota.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It in.
We do offer classes too, if anybody is interested. We usually have our bead retreat down there, and we offer different classes between kumihimo and bead weaving. Sometimes it's a collaboration piece that Maggie and I have done together. So you can email us or get a hold of us through Etsy if you're interested. We're only down there for a few days, so we don't have a lot of time. So
if you're down there, then catch up with them and have some fun while you're there, and then go to the next show. I love it. And so we have, let's see, is Karen still on? She was also a featured designer at one time in the past.
Yep, I'm here.
Where? Oh, there you are. And so Karen, let's see here, spotlight. So how did you like being a featured designer? Tell us about the year that you were doing it.
So the fact that I didn't know ahead of time, I got a letter in the mail with I want to say the kit came at the same time, and I quite literally opened the package and was like, so was thrilled, right? Looked at the color palette and thought, oh my God, I'm so out of my element here, right? And I want to say that I even had a quick emergency phone call with Hannah
So
Like,
you did the blue, you did the blue and wheat colored one, right?
yeah, yeah.
You're right.
Am I
Okay.
able to share screen or no?
Yeah,
Please
here, let
do.
me make
Absolutely.
you, let me, where's the thing? Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, super.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
beautiful.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's a little tiny purse. It's like, you know, your evening cocktail purse kind of thing. And then there's a button for a different view.
Brilliant.
So, a lot of fun. It took me, I think, close to the full length of time to do it. I think I finished right before the deadline of shipping it out. And I literally sat back and I thought to myself, okay, wow, this happened. It's done, right? And I sat there looking at this thing going, wow, this came out of me. I can't even, you know, so shocked, so surprised, so humbled, right? And so thankful, you know, just really super thankful. And it was the only year that I got to do it. And it was, you know, like when you're going through in like your beading career or your day career, or whatever you do, and you have like your list of things that you'd like to accomplish someday. And then you have like the bucket list of, well, if I get through these things, maybe someday I'd like to try this. And then you have this other list that's like, well, that'll never happen, but yeah, well, I'll put it out there anyway. And this, being a featured designer, was on that list, on the far right one. And so when the letter came in the mail, I cried, I was scared, I was overwhelmed. Yeah, it was cool. It's pretty cool. I don't know if other featured designers had the same reaction, but it was amazing.
I love that.
And so would you ever want to do it again after that
Absolutely.
experience?
Yeah. I went through a few years where career was much busier than time permitted. But I'm actually participating in challenges now with Hana. We keep challenging each other, and that's been kind of fun. I'm actually working on that one right now. So yeah, it's I think Joanne has been part of our challenge too, and she's on today as well. And we all just do something a little different, and it's just fun to kind of challenge each other. But yeah, I'd like to do it again someday. I think this last year there were some pretty significant health challenges, but I'm on the other side of that now. So starting to dive back into my beads again as a way to heal.
I do agree that beads are a healing process, and Beth has stated that too many times. She said beads have saved her life, and so in many, many different ways. And so I concur. So that's why I said this is a personal challenge. You're not competing against anybody else. You're competing for yourself at your own speed. If you're a featured designer, of course, you do have a couple deadlines for me, but you know, they're a little flexible at times. So we really just want you to, you know, get out of it. You know, it just had to be a rewarding experience in many different ways. And so I'm so
It changed my life. Beading changed my life.
Yeah.
It really did. It helped me mentally. And then I've met so many fabulous people. It's changed my world.
Oh, I love hearing that.
well, and you've changed my world. I met Robin, you know, she was a customer and then we just kept chatting and chatting and like, oh my gosh, you know, you need to be my friend. And so it's just, it's a beading community in so many ways. And so
You guys changed me because I started doing the kits and it was challenging to me. And you changed me a lot.
and
You gave me,
Aw.
we're so
and
excited.
doing the ones with Hannah and Karen is fun.
Well, yeah, and at times, Joanne, you said, well, if there's not a pattern, I don't know what to do, you know, and so it's like, no, you are a really good beader. Just find, you know, find your inner, you know, creative soul and just do it, because you really have great, you know, style.
Thank you. But you guys really changed me.
Well, that's the
I'm so
point
glad.
of community, is we all grow together.
Right.
Right.
And Karen's challenged me every week.
And so that reminds me again, we will be having, we're trying to start some smaller Zoom groups through our Bead Society, so that you don't have to just wait till the one Let's Be Live Saturday to get together with your community. So we'd like to organize and know who would like to be part of these weekly, bi-monthly, however often y'all want to figure it out, to do it. And Lisa said she would start one in March for the Night Owls on Wednesday night from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I believe it was, Lisa, right?
It's from
What
6:30 to 8:30.
6:30 to 8:30 on Wednesday nights, and that'll be starting the first Wednesday of every month, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so, but we want to know if there's other folks, because we have this Zoom, profile that we can use. So if you have a time, like I'm here every Thursday morning at noon, and you're like, I want to talk about whatever. So we want to, so just message to, I can't remember which board member was taking that on, but you can message anybody at the UMBS. You can message the Facebook, you can message me, and we'll work it to get you all together. But we want to join the group. So we want to know who wants to be part of it and when you're available. And we'll just
What
start booking them in.
zone? What time zone?
Well, hers is all central. She's in central time zone, but that's on the first Wednesday of each month. But we'll post them all in our member blog and on our member page once we get those, but we're trying to spread the word and figure out those times and get some group leaders and stuff like that. So if you want to do it, or you want to be a group leader, you just let us know. Staring at me. I'm sorry. Maybe Shelley wants to be a group leader. Maybe she does. Ann Baker wants to be a group leader. We know that. And she's on East Coast time, right, Ann? And so you got to there.
Yes, I'm in Southwest Florida.
And then but yeah, she's one of our newer members who we love to see you at our meeting.
I'm a beginner beater. I'm not
Oh!
nearly as accomplished as you guys. Not even close. I'm here to learn, but
But that's okay. No matter what level you're at, there's no judgment in beading. So that's the whole idea. So we're just gonna get on with our inspiration for the day with our featured couple. Oh my gosh, what a couple they are. Hannah and her mom, Joy. We are just so excited.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk a little bit about color theory today. I taught color theory at the Art Institutes International, and Mom taught at the
Minnesota Weavers Guild.
right.
I taught, we lived in Minneapolis, and I taught at the guild for that and various levels of weaving for many years,
Right.
from the 15 years that we lived in, 14 years that we lived in Minnesota.
Right.
But now we greet you from the Hyde Park a neighborhood of Chicago, which features the University of Chicago and the Museum of Science and Industry and the Great Lake, Michigan, our great indoor ocean.
Right, absolutely. So we're here to talk a little bit about color theory and how it can inspire you, not just in the Toho challenges, but in your own work outside of a how to make kind of your own palettes a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through a little bit, and Mom's going to stop me and show you some things and play some color games with you. And maybe we can turn off the phone. Can we put that somewhere else?
I can hide it.
We could throw it somewhere else. It's a landline. They're weird.
Okay, well, I don't know what to do with it.
Here you go.
I'll just.
All right. I'm going to unplug that. Sorry about that. All right.
Okay.
So color conveys meaning in two primary ways. It hits you in two kind of primary ways. And the first is natural associations, which are like the fire agate challenge, Toho challenge that that Rochelle did, and like the spectrum of joy.
And
one.
the garden that you see every day that
Right.
you love.
So those are that's the first one. And then the second one is the psychological symbolism. And so for instance, psychological symbolism can be things like if I say the colors of black and orange together.
Halloween.
Right. So that's not well, I mean, it is a little bit natural too because of pumpkins, but it's more of a psychological
That's
thing. You
right.
think spooky, you think, all kinds of dressing up in costumes. So those are the two kind of symbolisms. And a lot of times people sort of create these as an unconscious choice. If you are Christian and I say red and green together, then you unconsciously will probably think about Christmas. If I say, things like a soft shade of blue, some people will think of baby boy, some people will think sea, these are all unconscious choices, but I'm going to teach you, and Mom's going to teach you how to make some conscious choices. And then we'll also maybe talk a little bit about what our best sellers are if you're making things to sell.
That's right.
Yeah. So we've only got a little bit of time, so we're only going to be touching on the
Okay.
basics.
And we're going to be following actually the Johannes Itten idea of contrast.
Right.
And contrast, and he was a professor at the great school, the Bauhaus in Germany, that came to the United States,
Right.
actually to Chicago
Right.
eventually. And so we talk in terms of contrast, because everything that we think of in life is contrast. We think of hot and cold, we think of
Right.
tall and
Short.
short, and we think of bitter and sweet, and we think of cold and warm. So this whole concept of color theory is based on contrast.
Right. And what we're doing today is really a college course in an hour.
That's right. This is a course that actually many years ago, I realized that there were a lot of people I knew, weavers, who were afraid of color. They didn't know how to use color. Okay, they would use black and white. They would use brown and brown and brown and brown and brown and more brown. And so I took a college course in it. And so we're going to give to you in less than an hour. We're going to give an entire semester.
I know, right? Here we
Right.
go, right? So the first thing is we're going to show you some words that are associated with color. So the real word for color is hue. Color is sort of a made-up word.
Yes.
And of course, Roy G. Biv is the full color theory rainbow. And those are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo. That's the one that surprises people. And violet. And violet is the real word for purple. Purple is.
That's right.
Yes.
I do like purple.
I like purple too. And I'm going to say a lot of purple, and I'm going to
By
say color.
mistake, because we just.
Well, I'm going to say color instead of hue also.
That's right.
Yeah. We don't mean Huey Lewis and news, but yeah. Anyway, value is how dark or light the color is. Shade is if you add black only, so you're making it darker. And pastel or tint. Tint is the real wet, but pastel is the word that everybody knows. So, and finally, saturation is how pure or how gray the color is. So if you add either black or white, you still have what's considered a bright color. But if you add a gray, then it tones it down. And a lot of times a low saturation color is kind of gives you a sense of longing and loss, and it's kind of nostalgic. And we'll talk about this more later. So do you have some stuff you want to show them?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I'm going to stop.
We were talking about value.
Uh-huh.
And this, where do I show this?
Right
I
there,
showed that
right
in that
there.
picture.
Yeah,
Okay.
right there.
And this is a value just on grays. And you can see that this is a middle gray, and this is beginning with black going down to white. And these are values that you are changing your value from black down to white, from white back to black. This was done with color aid papers, which are these wonderful papers one can buy, and has all these marvelous colors, and we use that. And then also you can do it in paint. And this is showing pastels with the tint,
Mhm.
and down to the shades with the middle color where it came from.
Okay, so show that right in the middle there.
Okay,
There
there
you
we
go.
go.
There we go. There you
This
go.
was done with paint.
Right. Okay.
Now, we're hoping that eventually you will, go home and do some of this work and play with whatever you have, fibers, beads,
Beads.
paint, crayons, paper, pastels, whatever you have, and work them and play games with it, try all sorts of things with it.
Right.
Make things start from, your hue, your pure color, and add blacks to it, add whites.
Yeah, just see what
Little
happens.
graduate
Yeah.
colors. So you try this all out. It's fun.
Right. And if you do mixes with the beads like pointillism, then you can add the color, the white to it and see what happens. If
Exactly.
you add a white bead every 3 beads or a white bead every 5 beads
That's
or
right,
a
that's
white
right.
bead every. Now, how do you see color? This is a little bit of biology. We'll get through it real quick, but you actually don't see it in your eye. You see it in your brain. I know that's weird, but your eye has the receptors to show it, and there are 2. There's what are called rods, and there are about 125 million of those. That's a lot. And then there are cones, and there is about 7 million of those. So rods,
They're the ones on the left in the picture.
right? So they look like little rods. There they are, right here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more of those. The rods only show how dark or light something is, and the cones, which are a lot less of them, show you actually the color. So you have a lot more ability to see dark to light than you do to color. And they are shown sort of on the side of that eyeball, but they're actually all the way in the back. And it's your brain that puts it all together and makes sense of what you're seeing. And not all animals have cones, which see the color, and for a long time they thought that dogs didn't have it, but I've got dogs and I'm crazy about them. So here's a picture of my dogs. But recently they have decided that dogs can see color, and so can parrots. They're still not quite sure about cats yet, but there you go. Now, people see colors differently. And that's really important because a lot of times when I put things online, I'll say, well, your computer screen may show this differently than I photographed it. And that's really important if you're selling. But in addition to that, people's ability to see is different.
That's why we're all different.
I know, and it makes it fun, right? So, even if Mom and I agree that this color in our life is orange with a little bit of pink. Do you agree?
They call it orange, red, orange.
All right.
So
well,
it's 2 parts orange to 1 part red.
Right. So, but it's kind of a pink too. Do you see it as red or pink? See, that's interesting.
See, after all this time, I call this orange, red, orange.
I know, right? And
Yeah,
I call it kind of
after 300 years of working
right.
with color.
But Mom and I actually see this different. We might go ahead and we might both agree that it's got orange and some red and some pink in it. But she and I see this different.
But wait a minute. There's something else. Okay?
There's something else.
There's something else. Is that we're looking under lights.
Oh, right.
That are red. Okay. Incandescent light is red.
Right.
These lights that are behind us. Okay. If we were looking under what do you call
natural light or a
fluorescent light, we would be seeing this blowing out. So I recommend highly, and I'm sure most of you do this already when you're working with whatever media you're working with. And this course is for all of you, whatever you do. I recommend, and we recommend a natural light thing, either working next to a window, which we're getting sunlight, or getting something like the light. I think there's a whole bunch of different brands of them that have a natural light, and you can get them in Office Depot or in sewing magazines. And
Absolutely.
probably Bead magazines have advertisements for
Right.
these natural
Yeah,
lights.
I forgot
So-
to mention
So
about
that's,
them.
so we're also, you're being affected by that red.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Which I see as yellow a little bit. So
Hey,
yeah,
That's right,
ladies.
yes, yes.
We have
What's
a question from one of our viewers that since you're on this whole part, could you go back to the first slide with the definitions to then correlate this all back together again, you know?
Good idea.
right, absolutely. So this is the one that you wanted to go back
The
for.
hue, what is
Right.
hue?
So absolutely. So, you know, right now we're talking about how you see light, and we'll get into the definitions in just a moment.
Yeah,
Right
we're
now,
gonna do one
we're
by
just
one.
right. And right now we're just talking about the biology of it. So we'll get into these definitions in a little more in
Detail,
just a second.
individually, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But thank you, that's a very important
Right,
question.
and the thing is that we're trying to make a point here is that there everybody sees even the same color. We can be looking at the same thing and we can see it differently because our brain recognizes it differently and our eyes see it differently. So everybody now, the most common impairment is red and green impairment, and those do appear indistinguishable to some people to have color blindness is what it's called. And it's more common in men than women, but
That is a genetic thing.
right.
And that's why people learn, you know, they learn where the red is, the orange,
Exactly.
the green is on.
But anyway, let's
go past.
yeah, let's go get over
Color
the
wheel, let's talk color wheel.
so now we're going to go into the actual details of those words that we talked about earlier and really show them to you. So why don't we close this and Mom can show you a color wheel that she made to teach. So hold on just a minute while I stop share here.
I don't know how I'm gonna show this whole thing. Let me know if that's all showing up.
Here, let's put it right here.
Now
in
this
front of
one's
me. There
pretty
you go.
beat up because I use it a lot, okay?
So
And here's our reds, our primary colors, the red.
now primary colors, there are 3 primary colors. And I'll show you this a minute on our slideshow, but 3
Let's show
primary-
the more simpler one.
Okay, let's show a simpler one, and then we can show it on the slideshow too.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
So the 3 colors are red. There we go. Exactly. Yellow and blue.
Primary colors.
And primary colors, the real word is hue.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
But I'm
but-
going to use the word
Well,
color.
all
because-
color, well, things are called hue, but this is the pure hue colors.
Right.
This is, I'm gonna use another word, don't be afraid. These are saturated colors, so they're the color at its fullest. So we
Right.
haven't done anything to it.
We
We
haven't.
haven't added any other color to it. We haven't added white to it. We haven't added black to it.
Absolutely.
We haven't added gray to it.
Right.
Okay, does
So
that
we-
help?
So those are the 3 colors that in pigment you cannot mix. And we'll talk about mixing colors in just a second.
Okay, we're talking pigment now, like for yarn and for beads,
Right.
for paint.
Right. And let me go to the slide now and I'll show you that. Okay. So let's go to the slide just down here. There we go. So we're not talking about light colors. Light is what ends up on your computer screen, and it's what you see when you go to a rock concert, if you go to rock concerts or you go to a theater, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about beads.
And we're
fine
not
art.
talking about light as the tinted thing, like something is light and dark. We're talking about light like from the sun.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. So once again, traditional color wheels use 3 primary colors, and that's what we've got here. We've got the red, the yellow, and the blue. And speaking of these colors and this slideshow, this will all be up on Facebook for you to look at later. And so you'll always be able to get to it. So between those are secondary colors. So if you were to mix red and yellow, what would you come up with?
Orange.
Secondary color, right?
Secondary color.
And if yellow and blue, what do you come up with? Green, right? And then if you mix blue and red, you come up with
Not purple. Yes, purple. Violet. Violet.
right? Because once again, violet is the real color. Hue. See, they've got all these words that you're supposed to use that nobody ever uses. And speaking of which, jewel tones is actually everybody's favorite set of colors, but they're really kind of made up by the fashion industry. It's not
That's
really a
right.
color theory thing. So,
Okay, I got some other cute color wheels that you can play with.
well,
So make yourself a color wheel. It's kind of fun. This is a
Yeah.
fun color wheel.
oh, here's another
Here's
one.
another
Let's show.
fun-
Let me.
Oh, this is a fun one.
Let's show
because
this one.
the trick on this is I had to pick colors that were in between the regular color wheel. How you like that one? That's cute, isn't it?
That's fun.
That's fun.
Absolutely.
And right in between here,
Right.
we have the in-between color of those.
Right. So if you were to mix a primary
Yellow,
color and a secondary color, what would you come up with, Mom?
yellow, green,
And what's that called?
tertiary.
Tertiary for 3.
Yep,
So a primary and a secondary. So yellow and green makes yellow green. And you always say the word first that's the primary color. So it's not greenish yellow, it's yellow green. And if you were to mix red and yellow together,
red, and yellow together. That makes orange.
orange. And then if you were to mix orange and yellow together, what would you get?
Yellow, orange.
Right. You always say the primary color.
And the middle
first.
of this one over here is a yellow, is orange and yellow, orange.
Right.
So we got yellow, orange.
Right.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
it's
You
just
so
fun.
you can
But
mix until the cows come home if you have cows or goats. I've got goats.
And there's a fun thing, and we also made this. These are the primaries and the secondaries, and they're fun. You can spin them around and everything, but there are all sorts of nice color wheels you can make.
Color
And
wheels are great.
they're
And the thing
wonderful.
about color wheels that we're going to get into is when you're picking a palette, looking at a color wheel or buying a color wheel might be really helpful for you. And we'll show you why in just a second, as soon as Mom shows you this.
Yeah, I want to return to this one that has.
Here, put it in front of me. Everybody's sick of seeing me. Here you go.
Oh no, this is good. This is great.
Hi.
This has the primaries, the secondary, the tertiaries. It also goes even further in that of mixtures. And then this is showing going to the tints, and this is also going to the shades, which are two words I just introduced.
Tints and shades, right. So for tints, which is pastels, we only add white.
Right on, kid.
And for shades, we only add black.
Oh, you're so smart.
But we don't add gray. We'll get to that later.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
kind of one of the most complicated ones.
It's fun though.
It is. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna,
We really like that color chart. Where did you get that one? Did you make it? The grading?
She
I
made it.
did it with these color aid papers.
show them the color aid papers and then I'll
You
share
can
this.
buy
screen.
these in a bigger piece.
Show them, show them the front.
Here.
Show them the.
Oh,
the
it's
front where it
cool.
says-
It says color aid papers. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's kind of a funny.
Is that backwards for everybody?
Probably,
Okay.
probably.
Okay.
And this is just a book that has it all together, but you can get these papers and you can make your own with it. It's kind of fun. It's really fun.
You can also get them from Pantone Institute. You can get things like that. If you're low on funds, you can go steal them from the hardware store, from the paint.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think it's
Paint
not
chips?
stealing. I think they do it. Yeah, you can get paint chips,
Right.
except of course they're very trendy of what the trend is. this
Right, exactly.
particular
So they
year.
don't have all
So
the
you may
colors.
not have the entire,
Right.
but it is fun to.
Can you
to get
put
the-
your big one up again, please?
Oh, sure.
Oh, I sure can.
Absolutely. Let's put that up right there.
That's all the color aid papers. Is that gorgeous? I mean, that's just gorgeous just to look at, isn't
It's
it?
fun just to bake.
It's
isn't
really
it?
Yeah, it's fun
helpful.
to be- Well, you really get a feeling of the colors. You're working your hands, whatever you work with your hands and your eyes and your ears, and all your senses, you just get a good feeling about them. You know, after a
We all
while,
think you should either sell them or we should just have a workshop and make them.
Well,
I
you
think we
can-
should make one. We should make one. We should be,
Well,
we
you
should do that
can-
like maybe for one of the Saturday Bead
I
Lives.
think that's a great
Wouldn't that be
idea.
We should do it.
Wouldn't
I
that
think
be
we should
fun?
do it. I think it would be really
Yeah,
fun.
I think it is. I mean, you're handling
Otherwise,
this
there's
stuff.
several people that said they'll buy them from you if you put them up on your Etsy shop.
Oh, how funny.
Did you see the look on her face? That was
Exactly.
priceless.
That was.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's go to the slideshow a little bit more.
In my octogenarian life, I have a new
There you go.
job of making colored wheels.
That's right.
Yeah,
Let's see. Where are we here? We are,
the color wheel. Yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
I have
let me
the
see.
Let's
color
see, the
wheel,
color
but it doesn't
wheel.
go into the details that you guys do.
Well,
the
that's
shades
what you need us
and-
for.
So we've talked about the tertiary colors. Now, if you put too many colors together in a pattern and you don't put them in some sort of organization, like these color wheels are organized. If you don't put them, if you just put a ton of colors in and you throw them all on, like if you take a bunch of beads of all different colors and you throw them on the floor, your eye's going to actually blend those all together and you'll sort of see it as a grayish brown color. So that's really important to remember when you design something. You have to put it in some sort of order that our brain understands. You can't just throw a bazillion colors on the floor and expect it to be a design that you really can
And
recognize.
with speeds, it's going to be really murder to pick up all those
Oh,
little
yeah.
things that you threw on the floor.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So-
what are we talking about? Yeah.
We're going to talk about monochromatic designs because when you design color, the easiest way I think to start when you design color and when you're going to put together a color way of something to sell. You know, a lot of us make either jewelry to sell or fiber to sell, you know, something, weavings. And if you're designing your own colorway, I think the easiest way to start is with a monochromatic color. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. So monochromatic color means
Well, one color,
mono. It doesn't mean you're sick.
Chromatic is color.
Right.
So it's one color. So you're using blue, 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 blue.
Right. Or red or purple, violet. Right. And if we look at this one again, I'm going to turn this off. Stop share. It's not just green. It's green in all of these. As a matter of fact, you could probably get away with all
Oh,
of
I
those.
think of all these greens. you could
Yeah.
Probably do this.
So a monochromatic design still gives you a ton of options.
It does,
You
it
see?
does. And it gives you, the nuances. of green,
Absolutely.
yeah. And if you
Absolutely.
look at it, I mean, if you want to really be inspired by something, take a look at a leaf.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not just one green, there's lots of greens in there.
Absolutely.
As you would
You
know,
know, even one that's fallen. a
it is
dead one,
easy.
it's
It
doing-
is
that's-
easy to be green.
It is not easy.
It is easy to.
Oh,
be
it
green.
is easy.
No, I think it's easy to be green.
So when I make jewelry with a monochromatic color, I will add either black or white or gray. And we haven't gotten into saturation yet, so don't get worried about that yet. But I'll add pastels, I'll add black, I'll add pink, I'll add, if it's red, I'll add pink, I'll add a dark red, rust. But I also will, in a monochromatic design, I will a lot of times add either silver or gold or copper. So when I'm doing jewelry with a monochromatic, I usually don't just do the monochromatic, I'll also do whatever color the clasp is. So I don't think that even monochromatic designs, and I've got a couple of pictures here of some that then Mom and I have done. If you take a look at this, there is a red necklace here that I think I can pinch this out for a bigger view. Let's see if I can. I don't know how to do this. But can you guys see that necklace okay? that necklace is mainly red, and it's got some darker red, it's got some gold, and then Mom's Ruana there is mainly blue, and it's got some more turquoisey colors, but it's mainly blue.
So it's monochromatic, but the interesting thing
But it
about
does have nuance. It doesn't,
Yes.
it's not just one
and there's
color.
also another thing is that, when you're doing matte beads and shiny beads,
Absolutely.
the light is hitting it in such a way
Right.
that you are getting extra colors also
Right.
into it.
And one of the things we don't have time to do today is the whole like how bead finishes interact. We're not going to get into that at all today because that's a whole other lecture.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
And that's
but-
true with yarn and.
Right, absolutely. But let me, I think on my next page, I also show you some monochromatic. Yeah. So in this case, I've added black or white to a design to go ahead and I still consider that monochromatic. So
That's cool.
yeah. So,
There you go.
and then I think I also have some bronze. So
You have what?
bronze on that one.
Okay.
So anyway. Then the next way to go ahead, once you are comfortable with monochromatic designs or bored with them and want to move on to the next thing, then what we can do is we can divide. First, I'm going to show, I think I'm going to show on this because I've got it up.
Good.
You can divide the color wheel in half. And on one side of the color wheel, you have what are called warm colors. And we'll get to that in a minute with you. But on the right-hand side of the color wheel, I think it's right-hand side on the, then I have what are called warm colors. And warm colors are red, violet through red, orange, and yellow. And they are just warm. They make you feel warm. It's an unconscious feeling. It really is. It's through the natural.
Summertime.
Right. It's through the natural. And if you put these together, if you're wondering what kind of colors go together, putting warm colors together are really a sure bet.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So after you're done with monochromatic colors, if you want to put a bunch of colors together that are not just one color, and you want to have colors that most people think in your booth, if you're selling or if you're gifting your receiver go together, then warm colors are a sure bet. On the other hand, cool colors, which are on the other side of the color wheel, which are greens and the violets and blues, those are also considered a sure bet. But cool
Absolutely.
colors are they just make you feel like cool. Dude, you're cool. So here are a few cool colors. The thing is that our eye and your brain sees warm colors more easily. And that's something just to keep in mind because in addition to the natural thing, our eye thinks of a red sign when you're driving or walking as a stop sign. Your eye will, and the reason that it was picked was because our eyes see them.
Fire engines.
Right. And yield cones are orange because our eye sees them easily. So there's reasons that those colors were picked for those. So let me show, let me turn off this slideshow, and Mom's going to show you her color wheels again. And she's going to show you again that here's the cool colors, and they have a tendency to recede. And then the warm colors have a tendency to really pop out at you. You see that? But cool colors, well, let's do warm colors. Warm colors go together nicely. Look at that. That's a nice palette. And then cool colors go together nicely.
And within them, let's go back to the warm colors. Show the warm colors.
Well, let's show them on this one.
No, I will in a minute.
Oh,
but
okay.
I
Let's
have
show 'em on
something
this
else
one.
I wanted to say
Oh,
about
okay.
that. That, wait a minute, let's get that yellow in there.
There you go.
You'll notice that the yellow really comes out.
Yeah, it really
So
does.
if you're putting a combination together and you want it to feel balanced, you're going to also have to think of what proportion of each
Yeah,
of
that's
each
true.
color. And that's something that we'll teach you in the next class.
Right, that's a little more complicated. We don't have time to go into all of that, the whole
but
balance thing right now,
next
right?
class, next
But
class.
yeah, absolutely.
And here's just to make it very, very simple for you.
Here are two
Here's
great palettes for you to choose from. One is, you guys tell me. Warm. And this one,
I mean, cool. That cool.
that is cool.
That is so cool. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, this is good.
Great. All
This
right.
is good. What are we talking about next?
I don't know.
Because we don't have much time.
Oh, man, we
I
are
mean,
running.
People are exhausted. They're hungry for lunch.
They're hungry for lunch. Absolutely. So we talked about cool colors. We've talked about warm colors. Oh,
Oh.
analogous colors.
Analogous colors.
These are my favorite. These are my favorite way to put together a color palette. So analogous colors, I'm just going to tell you, and I'm going to screen share first. So let's screen share first. Are any three colors that are next to each other on the color wheel? So that doesn't make sense until I show it to you. So let me show it to you. So analogous colors are any three colors. So they're either the two primary colors like red and blue and the purple in between. Can you see that there? Or the red and yellow and the orange. So they're the two primary colors. There they are. And the secondary in between and all of the tertiary colors. And green, blue, and violet, which once again are the jewel tones and everybody's favorite, I think. If you're gonna have only one color in your booth and you're expecting to sell it, if you have that green, blue, violet, you'll sell.
That's the first thing that sells for me always.
I know. Blue is considered, just as a side note, blue is, if you ask like 100 people what their favorite color are,
Blue
is usually the favorite.
it
Yeah.
really is.
So generally people agree that these colors go together, but I'm going to show you a couple of examples of ones that are analogous colors that people really either love or hate.
Good. Okay.
And I love them. So, and then Mom will probably have something to say about these.
Maybe.
Okay, so anyway, the blue, green, and purple, once again, are a lot of times the most favorite. And so here are two pieces that I did that are blue, green, and purple. They don't have a lot of blue in them. Mostly they're green and purple.
Look what I got.
Oh, look what Mom has here. I don't know. Well, we'll show that in a minute
Yeah.
because we're looking at the slideshow.
Yeah.
So anyway, so here is one that people are not crazy about. Because analogous colors can also be the two secondaries with the primary in between. So it can be the orange, right? And the purple and the red. So the two secondaries with the primary in between. And here's two that I've showed you that are those analogous colors. I like these because they look like sunsets, but I've noticed that people either love or hate orange. You know, people don't feel, people can be like, well, green's okay, whatever, but people either love or hate.
You know, you can stick a teeny bit in.
Right.
Teeny bit in. That's what I was talking about proportionality.
Right.
Next course.
Right, next course. So here's another one that people either love or hate, which is the green and the yellow, which are the secondary colors with the primary in between, which is the yellow. And here's something I did with those.
You say green and yellow?
So it's the green and the orange with the yellow in between. So it's this. It's so basically what
Actually,
I'm
that is
talking.
nice.
Isn't it beautiful? It's kind of fall colors, I think.
They
Yeah,
are.
you
They
know,
are.
right
It's
at the
the
beginning of
change in the
fall.
season.
Right, exactly, when it's just starting to change. And people tend to either love or hate that, and I love it. So, but it's got that orange too. So
That's
a lot of
right.
times it's the orange that people make.
But you know, the brown, then when it gets
Right.
a little later, the brown sort of pulls it all together.
Right.
And that's because it's a combination. of
Right.
those colors.
So let me turn this off and Mom will show you a few things and we're just going to talk
No,
about
I
that a
don't- I
little
don't
bit
really
more.
have anything.
Oh, okay. You don't have anything there?
No,
But
no.
basically analogous colors are 1/3 of the color wheel. You just take any 1/3 anywhere and
It's gonna be okay.
it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just going to be fine. It just might have that orange that people don't like.
So use a little bit of it.
Right, exactly. I love it because now directly across the color wheel from each other are what are called complementary colors. And that's not that they're like, oh, your hair looks really nice today, Mom. That's
Thank
not
you.
what we
Thank
mean
you.
by complimentary, although
Thank
your
you.
hair does look really
Thank you.
nice. But complement means that it's across, all the way across the color wheel.
Okay, so here we're talking red.
Okay, so wait a minute, let me turn this off so that they can see. There we go. All right. So
Red,
mhm,
and across from that,
is green,
green.
which of course, you know, a lot of people think of as Christmas, but okay. And then what's another one?
Okay, let's do yellow,
Oh,
and across from that directly, violet.
it's the Vikings.
Is it the Viking?
It is the Vikings.
The Viking.
Now that's important because a lot of times team people, you know, like teams will use complementary colors. For instance, orange and blue. Isn't that University of Michigan, Joanne? So
Yes,
right-
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
So teams a lot of times will use complementary colors. Why do you think that is, Mom?
Well, it's threatening maybe.
Well, okay,
And it
that's
shows-
good.
It shows, you know, they're up there and you just can't.
Now,
not-
why would they be considered threatening?
Well, those are awful big guys.
See, the thing is that when you use the two colors that are opposite each other, they are as different in terms of colors as you possibly can get. So it's the most contrast you possibly can do.
We got one picture of it.
Right. And they are easiest for our eyes to see. The difference between blue and orange is easiest to see. The difference between yellow, isn't Vikings yellow? And am I wrong? It's been a long time since I lived in
Yeah,
Minnesota.
whoops, Vikings are purple and gold, correct.
Okay, well,
So there it is.
So
Yeah.
There's,
many teams, but you know, it's, they bounce off each other on the field of play. So a lot of colleges and high schools and whatnot, I think, do that.
right. Yeah, they use the complementary colors.
so
Absolutely.
here is some.
Yeah,
compliments.
Florida's
Orange,
the blue and orange and yeah.
green and red, yellow and purple. And this is already using secondary colors. So this one has secondary colors.
Right,
red,
and you can
orange.
do secondary color
Yeah, whatever,
across the color wheel
whatever is
too.
across the color.
Right,
wheel.
exactly. So
You
those
just-
are the
just go.
most different that you can get. And so your eye can see them. And actually, yes, Mom said the word threatening. A lot of times people find these colors uncomfortable to look at.
Are you ready for uncomfortable? I hope it'll be seen over the,
Let's do this one first because this is really complementary colors.
there it is. No, these
So-
all are
Oh,
complementary.
they all are. Okay,
Yeah.
so here are some, let's put that way up there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the part of that
So-
orange. came
So
off
there
of
we
that.
go. We've got some real complementary colors that really.
Yeah, these are all complementary.
Orange and blue is Broncos.
Okay,
Go
The Denver
Broncos.
green and there we go.
Okay, I
I
hope
love
this one
green and
shows.
I think that's one
This
of my
one is a
favorites.
red orange.
Right.
What
So-
does that do to you?
Woo.
Oh, psychedelic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's all that is complementary colors.
That's right. So the thing about complementary colors is that they are the most different and they are actually the easiest. They make red look reddest if you put it next to green and orange makes blue look bluest if you put them together.
That's right.
And I don't use them very often. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share screen here and show you a couple that I made, but I'm also going to show you something else. So this was the only thing I could find that was possibly complementary colors is down in the corner there. It's blue is sort of orangey.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing I've ever made that's kind of complementary color. But I wanted to show you an example of a piece of jewelry. So remember how I said orange makes blue look bluest? On this next page, that is the same blue in the center. That is exactly the same blue color. But do you see how one of them just looks kind of harsh and really blue and kind of jarring, and the other one kind of is a little more soothing? That is the same color.
Should I show my same colors?
You want to show your same colors? Okay, Mom's going to show her same
Now,
colors.
this is not necessarily just complementary
Alexa,
colors,
what's the
but
weather tomorrow?
what it also shows is something you have to think about in color, very, very important, of what color is next to it, okay? And we're talking like solid colors next to solid colors. Now here, take a look at this picture. Does that center yellow look like that center yellow? And it actually is the same yellow.
So depending on what you put it next to, the same color can look totally different.
How about this one? This one is interesting. I'm talking about this lavenderish thing here. Whoops,
Oops.
it fell apart.
Well, it's a little bit on the older side.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah,
go.
let me get it.
All right, you got it.
I got it.
All right, Mom's under the table.
Oops, it's all falling apart.
All
But
right.
anyway,
It was the same color.
color.
Here, show them this one. This one.
Okay.
Hopefully that one can fall.
Then
apart.
this one, it looks very different. The center one and this.
Yeah, you
one.
can barely see the center one up there. You
Okay.
see that? But
Look at
it's
that.
there. It is the same color. Absolutely.
And here's a fun one. This color is actually the same as this color.
That's right. So depending on what you put it with, colors can look completely different.
And this one.
Oh,
this
that
orange,
one's really, look at that
orange
one.
and the yellow orange one. is
That
the
one's
same as that
really,
one.
really different looking.
So
Look
you
at
have
that
to
one.
be considering that.
Right, absolutely.
And here's one more. One more. This green is the same as this green.
Yep.
Okay. Now that's not necessary under the complementary colors, but it's fun to look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Depending
fun
on what you
and
put things. with.
Terribly important to think about.
Right, absolutely. Now, I want to show you a picture of something that is not beadwork, and it's not one of these color things that that we make in color theory classes. I want to show you something that is a background for a very famous movie that you may have seen. And what they've done, it's actually animation. And what they've done is instead of using black to darken things, they've used the complementary color. So this will make sense in just a second. Let me go ahead and share screen. And let me show you this. So if you take a look at this top picture, instead of using black to darken this picture from the Hunchback of Notre Dame, what they've done is they've added a little bit of the complementary color. They've added a dark blue, navy blue. And you can see that what happens is it keeps the background from getting kind of what we call dead in paint. You know, it's still got vibrancy. And so if you use the complementary color, then you can make a piece appear darker without really making it kind of dead and unsaturated. It still keeps the vibrancy. Now down below, I have a picture that I wanted to show you of how you can use beads in the same way as pointillism. So in this picture, which is George Seurat, this one's at the the Chicago Museum of Art, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So it's Sunday at the Park, right?
Sunday at the Park in George.
That's
No,
right.
was
No,
the name-
that was
the
a
play, that
theater
was-
play, right?
yeah.
But if you look close up at this, at any part of it, you'll see that each little dot is very bright, but the way that they've used them and the way that Seurat has used complementary colors makes it look darker. And you can do the same thing with beadwork. You can do the same thing when you're creating maybe a peyote stitch pattern. Okay.
Another, yeah, I've got another.
No, we're almost out of time.
Okay,
We've got
okay,
like
okay.
2 minutes.
Oh, gosh.
And I
okay.
want to talk about saturation and then,
Okay.
yeah. So
Good, okay.
So you've heard me talk about adding either black or white and how it keeps it vibrant. But if you add gray to a picture, oh, that's the wrong one. If you add gray to a picture, what you can end up doing is you can make it look softer, and it kind of gives an idea of sort of nostalgia. So think of like an old sepia picture or a black and white photo that's kind of blown out a little bit and it's a little bit lighter, you know. So if you add gray, now if you add brown, you can also do the same thing. So low saturation palettes are very subtle, so I don't do them very often. And it's kind of hard to describe. So this is something that we get more into in a more advanced class. But low saturation, adding gray instead of black or white, really gets into something that's a little more. It makes people sort of sad or maybe a little bit uncomfortable. You know, so. And then finally, if you take all color out completely, you have what's called achromatic or black and white, which of course makes a beautiful, beautiful palette also. And I'm not saying that might be coming around, but it might be coming around. I love black and white palettes. I really do. They're so beautiful and they're very classy. So if you're super stuck, just get all your black and white and gray beads out.
And let me tell you, some people are going to love it.
Oh my gosh, they're going to sell right away. Absolutely. So the last thing I wanted to talk to you about was a couple of books, if you're really into it, and then I'll stop talking. How about that? Except I think Mom's got homework for you guys.
Oh, well, you know, just a little.
Okay, so there are a couple, and before we get, Mom's got one that she's going to show you. I'll talk about them. The Color Scheme Bible by Anna Starman, who is not related to Nicole Starman from Starman Beads. It's mainly geared toward interior design, but it's a great book that actually like shows you all kinds of different palettes that you can use. So it has like a main color and then littler colors that you could use as accents. And Mom, you've heard Mom talk a little bit about how you should do certain amounts. You know, it's not always equal. And the nice thing about the Color Scheme Bible is that it shows you kind of how much of each color you should use. And the Beader's Color Palette by Margie Deeb is for bead work, but it does the same thing. It shows you how much of each.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's true.
Beaded Colorways by Beverly Gilbert. I haven't looked a lot, but it seems to be the same kind of thing. But you have heard Mom talk about The Art of Color by Johannes Itten. And in a minute, I'll turn off this so you can see this book, this well-loved book. I've got a copy too.
But I have a special copy.
Mom has a special.
Yeah, because it was probably one of the earliest ones, and each one of the pictures in it was printed on a separate sheet so that the colors would be absolutely perfect. Because
so
so
you can it's on a absolutely.
Yeah, so the
mine doesn't do that.
The colors are absolutely perfect.
Mine does not do that.
Yeah.
So this book, which let's close it
You
and show
can
it.
inherit it, maybe.
I don't need to. I bought my own.
I know,
but I don't have one with special pages.
No. So
this one is out of print. I have to tell you that this one is out of print. Here it is. You can get it on Amazon. It's the Color Theory Bible. It really is. It will tell you everything you need to know ever about picking colors and using colors and loving color.
Learning color.
You can get used ones, but they're $200.
I don't know how much this one is.
This one's probably a lot more.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, and they are worth it. They are worth it. And it is out of print, so there are limited. So I really recommend it, but I know that it's an expensive book. So
well,
do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah.
She wants to add stuff.
Okay.
So let's.
Homework.
Oh, Mom's giving you homework.
I would like you very much to open your eyes to everything around you and work with these colors. I mean, it's just not enough to think about that. You need to work with them and try to think of what we talked about today. And one of the ways to remember it, there are stuff on color theory on YouTube, which they're not great, but they're, something that you could hang on to, or get yourself a book on color. infinite numbers. There's the great courses have color theory courses.
Oh, right, great courses, and you can get those on sale a lot.
Oh, they're always on sale. They say they're $387 and you can usually get them for 30
Right.
or something like that. Anyway, and do something like this.
This is great. Yeah,
I'm
let
gonna-
me
okay,
hold it up and you
Look
talk
at that lovely, lovely shell. And, you know, take your whatever media you use to color your crayons, your pencils,
your
paint,
beads.
your beads, and try to make a flat thing of it. You know, then make little swatches of it, and whatever way, and try to play with it. You know, here's where your proportionality of different
Right,
colors
I love
and
it.
of
So
and the
you can do
natural
it
thing
from-
helps you, you know, figure out how much of each color you're
Yeah,
using.
absolutely.
So you'll do something like this. Look at books, nature books, look in your garden, look in the New Yorker magazine and different ads, because they have wonderful color. I mean, everything is beautiful color.
How about National Geographic?
National Geographic
National
is terrific.
Geographic.
And look at a picture and see why you like that picture, and try to reproduce it in as many different ways as you possibly can.
Great.
So that's your homework. And, you know, look at books, look at nature books, just look everywhere and become sensitized to it as much as possible, because unless you work with it and try and play with stuff, especially stuff you don't like,
Right.
you will,
What is the
become
name of the
accustomed
book?
to it.
It is, I will put it, I'm gonna put it back up here,
The
and
art of-
it's called The Art of Color by Johannes Itten. So here, I'll put that back up on the screen. There it is. The Art of Color.
But the bottom it was crunched, so I couldn't see the name.
Yes, it's The Art of Color.
The Art of Color by Johannes Itten, Itten.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And as I said, it's very expensive and it's very out of print and it's very good.
But there are lots of other good
There are,
places. You
there
know, you
are.
really don't have to have
Right.
the one, because a lot of color theory courses are based on Itten's.
I am
Right.
pretty sure, I'm not gonna say 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that the Upper Midwest Bead Society still has a copy of the Beater's Color Palette that didn't sell at our last fundraiser and might be up for sale on our next one.
We were just looking
Mm.
for it. It's not in the box of books under my desk. So that's where
Well-
maybe Becky or Roberta might have it in
Right.
their.
I am almost sure that there was one though, so.
I thought there was.
That's what Shelley was saying as well here, so.
Mm-hmm.
I have the books. I'll look for it.
Thank you.
So, do we have any questions? I think we had some, but I saw some things pop up, but I didn't get a chance to.
Well, we have a couple comments and things like, when you were talking about neutrals, somebody said that metallics can be neutrals as well.
Absolutely.
That's nice.
Let's see, what does this say? It's also helpful to examine fabric prints for colors. You may notice many
Oh,
top
absolutely.
designers.
You know, you can
Sure.
go to sort of
Are
anything
limited in
that you
palette
like.
color, but yeah, then they add the black and the white and the
Mhm.
neutrals mix, yeah.
And you know what else is really fun is going to yarn stores.
Oh, I was gonna say, that's amazing, you guys, those yarn blends.
Mhm.
I mean,
beautiful.
very inspiring palettes.
Right. Is neutral achromatic? It depends. Generally neutral is considered, you know, a brown a lot of
Yeah,
times. So
which-
usually it's not. It's if you were to take paint and you were to mix,
Wait, that one.
if you were to mix paint in the best of all possible worlds, when you mix
There you
paint,
are.
you should be able to get a gray, but most of the time you end up with kind of
Brown.
a neutral brown.
Yeah, these are mixing complements. And
Right.
when you mix them, this is paint. I made this.
Right, so if you mix complementary colors, in theory, you should get a neutral gray or brown, but you really usually end up things with
And
the,
it's a beautiful brown.
right. And so they're not really considered achromatic.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Neutrals are usually considered something that's on the low saturated scale. So that's a great way to sort of define things that are low saturated, are things that are brown, or things that are gray. And you can have either have warm gray, or you can have cool gray.
That's
You can
right.
either have warm brown or cool brown. So
I was gonna say, some books will even say that black and white are color,
right,
because
right.
they are mixtures of colors.
Right. Well, and when you get into light too, then you
That's
have
why you're talking about light.
right.
light
Then the
light.
absence of light is black, and all light is white light.
Which
So-
is made up of all the colors of the
Right,
rainbow.
which is the reason-
You'd see that in the prism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the reason we
When
don't
you
really
take
go.
a bead like Toho makes, where they have a red line green bead or a green line red bead, you know, and you get those really interesting colors
Mhm.
that don't fully blend, but yet they kind of are immersed together.
Right. And they sometimes, a lot of times, if they're like a red line green, they do look a little bit brownish. They get a kind of brown
And so
because
it's
they're the
really-
opposite.
Or someone else pointed with the thread colors, changing the thread
Right.
color to
Right. So
alter
if you
the
had,
color perception of the color.
absolutely. So if you had an orange transparent and you put a blue, thread, you would probably get something that looked very much like that.
That's right. You better put as it comes in.
Yeah.
So in a sense, to sum this all up, I would like to not only call this the art of color, but the magic of color.
It is magic.
It is, I would say that's a very good term for it.
So,
So I can't wait to see. So we'll encourage our followers to post pictures of their designs and the video thread in the chat. And so when they come up with their pictures that are inspired, hopefully they will share so we can all see as well.
I just bought the book. I just
You
bought
just
the
bought
book
the
on
book?
Amazon,
Which one?
and it was paperback.
Okay.
oh, it's got a paperback now. Nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Very good. So glad. Oh, I'm really, really excited with you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It was
Absolutely.
fun.
You're so inspiring, ladies. I really enjoyed this, and so did everybody else, and everybody on Facebook is thanking you too.
Absolutely.
And
Thank
we
you,
just
thank
can't
you.
wait
All
to see
right.
what you make.
Well, thanks,
Bye,
guys.
Have fun with
Bye.
color.
Bye. Bye, Bernie.
Bye.
Bye, Nahid.
There we go.
Me.
Okay. So we stopped, and then let's do this. Whoops.
It says it's still recording.